following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.
Is currently right now on the track. It is the run for the Vivid EV Pole Award with the Vivid EV car. Jill Wells is crossing the line right now. Show the qualifying. We're about to get on the air and rock and roll, but then got a little bit of help from somebody. Great Thompson. I went from having a 720. I wrote down all my settings after last week's issues. He gave me some advice, and all of a sudden, here I am now back at top notch. So thank you, Greg Thompson. So it was well worth the wait there to get on the air. But Al Likens on the pole right now. Joe Wells, Shane Ward goes third. James Hudson, Greg Thompson right now, your top five. As we welcome you in here to the Masters of the Draft. But thanks to Greg Thompson for helping me there with that advice at the last moment. So my stream has just come back alive, basically. And you noticed the entry by Joe Wells to pit road. That is something we're going to talk about here this evening, because the newest update at Atlanta Motor Speedway, you now have to pit that way right there on the 3 and 4 entrance going to pit road. There's no more of the pit road off of turn 4. And, of course, that is much to like NASCAR now, the way it is all set up there. So that is definitely a positive when it's all said and done. Let me turn myself up. This is what happens when my microphone gets messed up. I wasn't talking yet, but here we are. But, yeah, let me turn my microphone up there as you can hear me. So, yeah, this is definitely going to look good now. I'm excited for it. So, at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hey, Travis Gilbert's out on track right now, I believe, as he runs his laps. As I get my wits about me here. Takes a minute now that I've gotten everything sorted out. It's like, all right, we got to do that. But, yeah, should be a fun race here this evening, of course, after a wild race last week as Travis goes to the pole, 32.03 on his lap. And that Vet2Track car in the 22 going to the pole there on his first lap. Of course, last week at Daytona came down to a lot of carnage. There's been a lot of talk in chat about it. There's been a lot of going back and forth and so on and so forth. But the big thing right now is, of course, obviously a penalty. That'll be for Ryan Wilson. He'll start on pit road after his accidental move, which was deemed accidental, and I think I can firmly agree with that, and I think most of the league does, that it was an accident when he actually pulled on track off of pit road and kind of got ran over by a few cars, or some might call it the Kevin LePage theory. But unfortunate deal there. And then, of course, the winner last week at Daytona was none other than the driver to 34 car, Tommy Rogers, getting his first win in a very controversial way, throwing a little bit of a block on Jason Branch and pretty much stuffing him in the fence as he crossed the start-finish line to win that race. So a lot of interesting drama that's going to be talked about, and right now they're going to go into a meeting and do their chat here. So, but a big shout out to Vivid EV and, of course, the Pole Award, which will go to the driver of the number 22, Travis Gilbert, will win the pole here at Atlanta. Has seen a little bit of a haze coming over the track here. Of course, right now it's actually snow covered per se, as that little snowstorm came through this weekend, and saw some photos of the track, and does have some snow cover on it, but that's just part of the living when it comes to winter, especially even in Georgia. Believe it or not, they do get some snow in that area, and I call it the once a year snowstorm that they seem to get there. I know every time I was in that area for the 5 years, it seemed like once a year it would snow, or you'd get that like ice storm like they had a few years ago that created all different types of havoc. So, all right, let's look at the schedule right now as we go into tonight's race. This is the second round of the Xfinity side of things, and of course, Atlanta Motor Speedway, 130 laps right down here. Of course, we'll go back to Daytona in the 07 track coming up here next week, and then Talladega on the 28th, which will be the final round of, actually going to check something out as we're talking here, of the Xfinity Series before we go into Gen 4, which will go into February, which of course is Daytona 500 month and stuff. So we'll be going back and forth and that getting ready for that. But just give me 1 second. I'm going to make an adjustment on the old microphone here just to make sure that you guys are hearing me to the fullest here. Sometimes, you know, my microphone, when I'm done on the air, just kind of slides over to up onto the pedestal here and just kind of sits there for the week. So never know what kind of adjustments are made to it and that kind of thing. And you would probably be like, hey, Captain, don't you like test everything beforehand? Well, I started to, and then all of a sudden things happened. Sound devices. Microphony, or phony at the mic. Big fan of Three Stooges for those who didn't know that. All right, so just about to wrap up the, that's the speakers, I want microphone. Oh well, we'll figure it out. But anyways, getting ready to go here for racing again, 130 laps here. Got a pretty good crowd of drivers here. So we take a look at the point standings entering this week's race. Jason Branch actually, by way of bonus points for stage racing and so on and so forth, even got a stage win last week, leads the points by 7 over Tommy Rogers, Josh McKinney 3rd, Roger Rios Matias 4th, Evan Perry, who unfortunately had a situation happen today I won't get into personally for him, but hopefully he's doing okay. Tonight didn't look like it, so hopefully, Evan, if you're watching on the stream here tonight, hopefully you're feeling a little bit better after your unfortunate situation here today. Shane Ward, AJ Condon, Scott Wise, Stephen Melnick, Travis Gilbert, your top 10 entering race number 2 here. Your overall points, it is Travis Gilbert leading Joe Wells now by 27. Shane Ward way behind right now as we go into this race here this evening. And in team points wise, G Lightning leading the other G Lightning by 204 right now, 258 back to High Spirits. Torque Wrench, TNT, RR all the way down to the top 10 in the overall standings. Talk to some drivers here real quick. Let's talk with, yeah, Steve Lawrence made it. That's good. Let's talk about last week's winner, because I want to get his, had a obviously very controversial finish last week to the race as we bring in Tommy Rogers, who of course won the race last week at Daytona. And Tommy, I got to ask you real quickly here. So obviously we go into this race tonight. It's been talked about the way the finish happened last week and stuff, and you haven't, as of last week, at least when you talked about it, you were like, hey man, it happened. I won the race. I'm good with it. Are you still feeling that way, or is there a little bit more of, you know what, maybe I could have done something different now later on this week type of thing, or how are we feeling?
No, I'm feeling. I still feel comfortable with the win. Like I said, when you're 20 yards away from the finish line, I mean, you've raced the whole race.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well give your best shot to win the race. You're 20 yards away. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I just feel like I said, I feel like anybody would have gone for the win right there. And if they didn't, in my eyes, they weren't racing as hard as they should have. But I definitely wouldn't ever take somebody out, way before the line.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I didn't even intend to hit him at all. I was attempting to get in front of him, but I was too late, and we barely touched doors.
Well, obviously, we'll move on to Atlanta here tonight. Obviously, a different track. The pit road entrance is going to be very interesting. It looks like it's very tricky to pull off here this evening. Give me some expectations for tonight.
I do believe there's going to be many speeding in the pit penalties.
Oh,
I do believe I'll be getting some of those. But ultimately, I definitely don't foresee me running a back-to-back win. This is a tough track, and it's tough for me, and I know it's tough for some of the other guys. So some of the guys with a bunch more experience are probably going to dominate on this track, to be honest with you.
Well, we hope for nothing but the best, and obviously this evening, and let's see. You never know. You didn't have much confidence in yourself last week, and look what happened. So.
Yeah, I got lucky.
All right, buddy. Hey, best of luck here this evening.
You too.
Absolutely. And that, of course, being the driver of the 34, the winner last week, Tommy Rogers, who, of course, went to victory lane at Daytona. One other driver I want to get a chance to talk with really quickly down here in the G Lightning camp. Of course, we spoke with him during the race last week, and I wanted to get him up here pre-race because obviously we're going to have a little time to talk here before we get this race underway, and that's AJ Condon. AJ, obviously you guys have put a lot of work behind the sponsorship here, of course, of this series for the Xfinity side of things, and that being Key City Hobby. Let's talk a little bit more about what Key City Hobby is, and talk a little bit about the history.
Key City Hobby is a creation by me. We're a big warehouse in Frederick, Maryland that we just brought in a ton of rocks, and we drive RC race cars, RC rock crawlers all over the rocks, and have competitions and have a fun place to go when it's cold outside or raining or whatever. And it's created a real camaraderie around the locals. It's a lot of fun to be there.
Well, obviously very tricky, and I got to learn a little bit about your rock climbing you were talking about with the RCs, which I think is very interesting. Talk a little bit about what got you into RC racing.
So I did it full size. I was racing and driving a rock crawler full size. Mm-hmm. Traveling the country in a series called We Rock, and then in a race out in California called King of the Hammers. And these guys were bringing radio-controlled crawlers to these events too, and I was like, that's really cool. So we started doing that at our local events and just started making it a hobby too.
Well, talk a little bit about if somebody wants to get connected with you guys at Key City Hobby, how can they do so?
We got a website, keycityhobby.com. We got a Facebook page, Key City Hobby on Facebook. All the usual, methods, email, phone, whatever. But check us out on Facebook and give us a like and look at some of the pictures there. It's pretty fun.
Appreciate your time, AJ. Good luck in the race here, and
Thanks,
maybe we'll talk to Victor Lynn, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir. AJ Condon, as he gets ready to put the G Lightning car on the track here momentarily. We appreciate his time, as always. And as we do at this moment. We go trackside for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Here we go, trackside. The starting lineup here. Travis Gilbert on the pole. Al Likens, another great qualifying effort for the 25 car. Can he turn it into a win? Joe Wells, Shane Ward there, row number 2. Row 3, James Hudson and Greg Thompson. Big shout to him again for helping me out. A week's worth of work. He fixed it in like 2 minutes. Jason Branch, Kavaja Holt in row 4. Josh McKinney, Daryl Johnson, row 5. AJ Condon, Key City Hobby, who we just spoke with. We'll start there in row 6 with Tim Shiflett. Tommy Rogers, the winner from Daytona. Scott Wise, Brian Hayes, Steve Melnick, Ryan Wilson, who will start the race from pit road, and Dusty White, who I believe is subbing for Dylan Picklesimmer tonight. And it looks like a couple cars actually did not make the grid. We'll talk about that in a minute. Stages tonight, 26 and 65. No cautions for the stage breaks unless wrecks happen. 71 degrees, 97% humidity, hence the haziness. Partly cloudy skies here in Atlanta as we have the lights on and we're ready to go for race number 2 of the Masters of the Draft. Xfinity Run, race of 4 to crown the champion here on the Xfinity side of things as the cars take the green flag. ATL goes green. As the cars get up to speed, and of course our cameras presented by TrackCams22.com. Check them out online, on Facebook, and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. These guys get up to speed. What kind of patience we get here early in this race. A couple of the Geo cars. There on the front side. On the inside row is Travis Gilbert. Joe Wells lead him across the line for lap 1. Al Likens up there, top side there. Shane Ward with another G Lightning car. Along with my researching this week, I figured out a lot of different things. What I need to do, some stuff, and one of the things, getting the stages to work. And you can see right up there on the screen when stage 1 ends. Inside line, Jason Branch there behind the 2 of James Hudson. Greg Thompson up there on that top side. Everybody being pretty patient here for the most part. It's a good thing. Track is tempting, especially with the runs. This track only 4 miles. Still got the 50 feet here. You see Scott Martin out there in the back, bouncing off the wall a little bit there in turn 1 and 2. Joe Wells jumps up to the top side here. I think he's going to try to maybe make it side by side here with the G-Lightning team. Not a bad move here. What that does is kind of monopolizes, if you will, both Rubes here. But Joe's going to go ahead and come to the bottom so he can get himself a lap led. Only 2 cars out of the draft right now. They're actually working together back here. Tim Shiflett and Ryan Wilson. And they're doing this just to kind of stay as close as they can up to speed right now. As they look at their speeds, they're about a second and a half off the pace, so they're not at speed of what the pass is right now. But they're going a little bit faster than what they would be going if there was one car running by itself, per se. Hello, viewers. Welcome in. Appreciate you joining us here this evening. Appreciate everybody working with me. It was definitely a frustrating race last week for me, even trying to get the stream working, and then, of course, through the AI races last week, was trying to work through it, trying to figure out all my issues, and end up fixing one and have another. Greg Thompson, who gave me advice, and now we're back to 1080. First, I thought we were only going to be at 720 tonight, but we're back to 1080 here, and I need to edit real quick because I put all the settings back really quickly, and as you know, when you rush through something, you might change. Hopefully, it leaves something good on everyone's part as of right now. Now Likens to the outside, looking for the lead. Got help from that said Greg Thompson. Double lot of Kabaja Holt there on that outside M1 car, and also the 5 of AJ Condon. Josh McKinney in the number 24. Inside line, filing out back there towards the back. I think some guys being patient here potentially, which this would not be a good sign if you're a driver of that 54 or 23 right now, because with those guys right now, they say that they're going to go 3 wide. Up the middle comes the 93 of Daryl Johnson. Leaning on each other here. Now, I'm kind of curious to see what's here in the long run, because this track has a tendency to heat up that right rear and you get loose in the longer run here. We'll see if that's exactly what we see here. Leaders over in turn 2 right now. Wilson and Shiflett. These two over in the turn 4 now, crossing the start-finish line, so they're literally a half a track behind right now. The sponsor of this Masters of the Draft Series, a 24-race schedule with 6 different series of 4 races. To see who is the master of the draft here in 2024/2025. The track is a group of people that have put together a mission. You know, veterans find an outlet through motorcycle racing and riding on specialized track and more. Some info, talk to Travis Gilbert or look up at the track and you can see what they're all about. But a big shout out to these guys being the main sponsors here of the series. We're already 11 laps deep. Lights are on. To the south of the Hampton, Georgia, right off of I-20. I'm sorry, right off of I-75. Atlanta. Appreciate the feedback. Let me turn the cars down a little bit. I have adjusted the sounds, so that's one thing that could make that happen. So Let me know if that's any better. I know I'm all the way up in the yellow, so if you're hearing the cars, that's pretty impressive. As they complete lap 13. Skywing, who's being my right wing man. As we complete lap 14, 12 laps to go here in the first stage. Again, 26 laps to make up that first stage. We're all the way to lap 65. Of course, we'll get some potential green flag pit stops. And that's going to be very interesting to see. The prediction earlier, we talked to the winner last week, Tommy Rogers. He predicted there would be some speeding penalties here tonight. And that's going to be the million-dollar question. Will we see those speeding penalties? Oh, and around 93 into the wall sideways. Bam, gets T-boned. And there's a caution. We'll have to worry about it here. As caution number 1, the 93 of Daryl Johnson, and I think that's Brian Hayes. They got a little T-bone steak. Let's see what happened here. Looks like Thompson got crossed up a little bit. Yeah, 47 just locks up and gets into him. And caution here, 10 laps to go. This should bring cars to pit road. I'm even going to turn my microphone up a little more. But now we should be good. Now I have to turn myself down because I'm probably overmodulated, as they call it in the broadcasting world. One more view of this from Johnson here. Did he get in the back? Were you on the roadways too in Fort Wayne? Good grief. That's interesting. Don Johnson just kind of loses control, unfortunately, after hitting that wall. All right, cars are now on pit road, and we got some on pit road, and this is where the interesting part of pit road. Of course, everybody's already past that entrance part over in turn 3 and 4. But everybody going to take tires and fuel a lot of these cars up front. I think that's going to make things interesting because I think the aggression is going to pick up here, of course, as we get into getting towards the end of this stage. Thanks for your help, bud. Once we get this all, now that we're all going again at 100%, I'll have everything set for next week. Won't have to worry about these issues. See the lines over there to the right-hand side. Here you go. There's a good sample of what we're seeing here. So Joe Wells, I think this over on the right-hand side. 97's coming in. You get the right guys. There we go. And these guys are going to come back in, I think, and just purposely start at the back. As we should get the green here. 7 laps to go in the stage. And 93 looks like it's dog tracking still a little bit here. All right, so Lycan's going to restart the leader. Greg Thompson there on his outside there, P2, P3. Kavancho Holt there in 3rd. James Hudson, Jason Branch, your top 5. Stephen Melnick, the only other car not to pit. And then the rest of the crew, Gilbert, Wells, Ward, McKinney, Wise, Condon, Rogers, Hayes, Wilson, Shiflett, and Darrell Johnson all coming into pit road for tires and fuel. And, of course, that caution worked out for Ryan and Tim, the 23 and 54. They were able to stay on the lead lap by running together in the draft and got that caution now, and they're back in the lead pack here. So definitely works out for them here as we get ready for the restart here at lap 20. Likens enters that like a restart zone, gets a real good restart. I don't want to get too good of a restart because that's when this pack will roll the draft. You got to remember, these guys run the Super Speedway package here at this track. So what you see at Daytona and Talladega in these Xfinity cars is what you'll see here. As you see the two already of Hudson going up there to pick up the 28 and trying to get a run going on this outside. Top three are pulled away by a couple tenths of a second. But the run's going to come from right here. James Hudson in the outside lane. And Joe Wells trying to give the bump to Melnick. As here comes Holt to the top side. Ooh, two's out of shape. Hudson had to go catch her and does a good job of it. How comfortable are you pushing? Oh. Melnick was going to leave the bottom open there for Gilbert. Outside line looking pretty organized right now. Front 6 rows, I would say. Oh, 2 in the wall. The 5 goes around to Condon. And caution going to come out. And will likely not finish the stage here. So we should get a green flag before this stage ends. As the Miller Lite hood is flopping around like a fish out of water. And caution number 2 comes out. Happens going down to turn 3 and 4. Fortunately, McKinney gets into the outside wall here. Let's get another look at this from the crash cam. I would think the people's bets are made now. If you're not pitted under that last caution, you're staying out here to... Oh, Gilbert gets into the McKinney car, who gets into the 5, who gets hit by the 2 and the 34. And the Miller Lite top ends up flopping around over here. Flopping more than an NBA player at a game. That's going to hand the lead to Cavaggio Holt here. Let's see, we're at 3 to go right now. They've picked up the pace car, pits are open, so they should come around. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. I think we might be getting a green at the end of the stage here. It might actually be a one-lap shootout, literally, to see who wins the stage here. This could be interesting. Big shout out to the viewers hanging out here this evening. Of course, Super Shafty. Skywing, of course, Krishan Elliott, literally 10 minutes down the road from me. Pace lights are out, so we will get a one-lap dash to end stage 1. Of course, if you're new to the channel or been hanging out with us, it's always appreciated very much what your support is to the Captain Esports Network. Here we go, coming to the green flag. As Holt launches in the final lap of stage 1. Which lane he tries to protect here. He's going to go top side and let Joe Wells go to the bottom here. And they're going to go 3-1 as here comes Gilbert. He wants a stage win. As across the start-finish line, it is Gilbert taking stage 1. And of course, that is presented by Wise Guy iRacing Graphics. Put it down here. Move this thing around every week. As a 0-0 all of a sudden is coming to pit road. Did he have a penalty? He's coming down a lot faster than you probably should. But Travis Gilbert, the winner of the stage presented by Wise Guy iRacing Graphics. So 0-0 was on pit road. And something tells me he's going to be there for a little bit. If not out of the race now. James Hudson, Josh McKinney. As Gilbert all of a sudden is having some blinking issues or something here. So now he's having some blinking issues. As no, here comes the 0-0 on a pit road. So I'm not sure if it was just a penalty maybe or something. We'll have to go back and look at the restart. Did he switch lanes maybe? Is Gilbert still blinking out? Let's go back to the restart here. What happened with the 0-0? 22's blinking out. AJ Condon's still on pit road, so let's see if we can Holt takes the green flag, and he might have jumped the start, maybe is what he did, because he didn't do a lane change, so. And I'm pretty sure Lauren has messaged me to tell me. If he didn't, she would. Either way, Joe Wells now leading. It's that bottom side getting kind of single filed up here a little bit. Cars up there on that top side right now. Paul Gilbert. See, Jason Branch has now moved up to the second position. Melnick's moving up to third. You see Thompson down there on that bottom side right now. Gilbert's doing a good job just kind of being respectful, staying up there in the lane. Usually when that situation kind of happens, most leagues will just say, hey, as long as you stay out of the way, we'll be okay with it, or just go to the back and that kind of thing as they work their way around the 24 Josh McKinney. Kind of a habit. You can almost think that the 22 is maybe unpredictable and stuff. But he's doing a good job just kind of minding his P's and Q's up there on the top side. As Lycan still holding that outside lane right now. We complete lap 35. Of course, we got all the way to lap 35, and it looks like now we're starting to have some little bit of connection type things again here. So let me just kind of keep an eye on this a little bit. So if you hear me kind of quiet for a second, it's because I'm speaking over it. Looks like everything's could be a little better looking. And apologize for the inconvenience there as we try to get that fixed. Oh, a couple cars making contact back towards the back. As the Raw 34, Tommy Rogers has gone around over here in the back straightaway. Last week. It was good. All right, back we are here as we come to the green flag. Yeah, looks like I got some more investigating to do as we go back to the green. 10 laps to go, make that 9 to go as Al Likens gets them back going. Shane Ward, Greg Thompson, Stephen Melnick, Joe Wells, your top 5. Top side there, Shane Ward trying to get that outside line going with Melnick, but now the bottom side seems to form up. Branch here pushing Wells. You see the 93 there behind him. As issues again for Tom. Same verse. All right, welcome back here for the green flag. You haven't really missed anything. Just a lap there as we've been under green as Al Likens leads. Thompson, Melnick, Wise, and Joe Wells, your top 5. Went in and made a lot of adjustments just now in the stream here. So obviously it's not going to have the top quality that it usually has here, but unfortunately having some issues here again tonight. But apologize for that. I'll continue to work on it while I'm off the air throughout the week. To the outside comes the 08, Greg Thompson. As Scott Wise getting the outside wall there, Melnick almost getting up into him. That could have been bad. Another part of it too that we got to look at here. You always got to wonder with the weather outside. Of course, we've had a good amount of snow here. It's getting cold, and I don't remember this being an issue last year. But you just never know with the way the weather works and internet connections and things like that. So could be seeing that kind of thing happening too. Is look at Wise taking Thompson up the middle, bringing the 93 back there with him. Johnson. Work their way down the back straight away. You see Wise getting a real good punch there on the outside lane from that 93 of Daryl Johnson, who's still a lap down, trying to get back on the lead lap. He's trying to get himself back in the running here as Travis Gilbert has taken his car behind the wall, unfortunately, with the blinking issues. Also, Brian Hayes, AJ Condon, James Hudson. So a lot of attrition, I should say, has happened in this race. That's fine. Well, I was about to say finally getting a clear reception here. Been in the red for the last 20 minutes. Green for a split second there, but back to the red. Just hate it for the viewers, hate it for everybody there. I wish I had answers for you. As they come up on the lap car here. Everybody can maintain their lanes here. Kenny doing a good job of that. So less than 50 laps to go now. Still got one more pit stop likely to be done in this race. Who knows how many cautions left? If could be 0, could be 5, could be anything. It's been a wild race here so far. Everybody's kind of mind their P's and Q's. Just had some subtle wrecks. Nothing too terrible. Leading for the first time this evening now in that 31 car. Looking to go to victory lane and be a second win this season. Of course, picked up a win at iRacing Super Speedway. Scott's had his struggles throughout the Masters of the Draft Series. Of course, the good news when you have a series like this, the 4 different races that happened in each car, and it's almost like a reset every time, so you get a chance to win that specific element or that specific stage of racing. Of course, Joe Wells won the first 2 championships, the trucks and the next gen car, and of course he went to the 87s, and that's where 22 of Gilbert with the victory lane. As we see, Lycan's getting a good push there from the 93 as tries to get to the front there. Now you're starting to see where this car is getting a little tight. I got to see these cars roll out the throttle as they got real tight there off 2. Push all you want to, but unfortunately these cars handling comes into play here. You see the weather, I mean 74 degrees track temperature, so it's gotten cooler, but still you get cars that the tires wear out. It makes these cars move around just a little bit. About 16 laps or so with 1 caution involved on this set of tires, so this is where the handling really kind of comes into play here. Not able to get to the left rear of that 25 and trying to drag him back there. Melnick in that 1 car looking pretty racy here this evening. Oh, it'd literally be an ice skating rink because there's snow on the track. It'd be snowmobile racing. That'd be interesting, because the tires wouldn't be able to get temp or anything. I mean, that'd be crazy to watch. Solid 23 peeking into the picture. Ryan Wilson, who's a lap down, also here in his 23, just kind of hanging tight. Joe Wells back there, 4th position. Oh, Scott Easy. Telling these guys to lift in the corners in a super speedway races. Telling a heavier set dude like me to go on a fat-free diet. But guess what? Somebody here's going on a fat-free diet, as I've learned. You get older, you have to go see that doctor guy, and the doctor guy starts telling you things you don't want to hear, and it's like, boy. Ooh, everybody's snaking there a little bit as we're single file for the first time, I think, all night. Well, for half a second, then Ryan Wilson jumps out of line. Gotta take the runs where you get them, but you can just see how the car pushing up the track now. But this is a part of the race here we really haven't gotten to yet. See these cars look it down that white line and they kind of wash up. It's kind of like what you saw in Daytona in these cars last week. They'd get down that white line, they'd kind of wash up the track a little bit. I actually talked to a couple drivers about that last week. Was it a loose on entry type of thing? Was it the track, the setup? And a couple of them told me, yeah, it was loose on entry at times. But here it doesn't look loose on entry. It looks more like just tight. Let's see. Let's go on board with a couple of cars here. Let's watch the hands on the wheel. Branch looks pretty steady there, but I think he's being pretty patient. Let's go to Scott Wise. He's been a little elbow grease in that wheel. Not so bad there. See, I had to turn that wheel just a little bit more there. Out to Casey Duncan there hanging out in chat. A buddy of mine. Good friend of mine. And hopefully he's doing pretty well health-wise and stuff. I think you've been going through a lot of stuff up there in Washington. Now Likens, who's led the most laps here this evening, I believe. Scott Wise right there with him. Melnick having a great run. Joe Wells, Shane Ward. We got 7 cars on the lead lap out of the 18 that started. Got about a third of the field off the track. Wilson, Johnson, Shiflett. Those three are trying to get back within a lap of each other. One of them will actually be the lucky dog if we get a wreck. If they can stay out of it. 130 laps to go next time by. Next week it is the 07 version of Daytona. And for those who have been on iRacing long enough, like myself, I remember the 07 Daytona, which, you know, I've still ran plenty of times, but it was the only Daytona you could run back when I was on iRacing to start with. But it's the bumpy version up until when it was paved in 2011. So you'll get to see these cars bouncing around and all types of good stuff, and they won't be able to run like this too much. Ooh, hold on. Rogers there in the 34 getting a little free into the corner. Of course, he's had a couple of whoops-a-daisies off the back straightaway tonight. The Daytona winner, but he's trying to hold strong here. He is currently 2 laps down in that 34 car. I think that 3 laps down, actually, if I do the math correctly. Definitely see some of the cars lifting out of the throttle, seeing top speeds around 180 miles an hour in the draft. But then you're seeing these cars slowing down to the mid 160s or so, just a little blip of the throttle, letting the car set, getting that downforce on the nose so the car will cut through the corner. And remember, these cars out of the group of trucks and the next-gen cars and stuff like that don't have the downforce that you see. Truck around here. Of course, a lot more drag to counter that. Wilson getting help from his teammate Rogers on that outside lane. Shiflet there also. 3 lap cars. Trying a little competition there on the outside lane. They try to get themselves back on the lead lap here, or close to it. Yeah, appreciate everybody hanging out here on this Tuesday evening. Appreciate everybody working through the couple of issues on the stream. Thought we had a permanent fixture going into the race this evening, thanks to Greg Thompson on his help. I actually went and talked to him in between the caution there. Like, hey, you got any more advice? And, appreciate his help, and of course others who have tried to help out and stuff. But sometimes to go forward, you got to calm down a little bit, as they say. And here we are. Might not be full of graphics anymore, but at least still got that chance to put out a good stream and let everybody enjoy some great racing here. As the patience is starting to come into play here a little bit with 23 laps to go. Everybody's just kind of lining up, taking that deep breath, a little calm before the storm. Say that Joe Wells kind of gets out of line, but this also could be part of the handling here too, as the car handling might be gone away so much that everybody's just kind of single file riding now to jump out of line and head up to the outside wall or something, damage your car. Likens and those guys going to come up on a lap car here. Or I'm sorry, that's not a lap car. Well, it is a lap car, but they ain't coming up on him. He actually took the lead of the race here, Ryan Wilson, but unfortunately Ryan is a lap down still. I say that as actually we're going to have some pit stops. Here we go. New school pit stops here at Atlanta. And to go all the way around 3 and 4, stay under the white line, and get down to the speed limit right here. As the 23, 93, and 54 all come to pit road here. And somebody forgot to give Tommy Rogers the compass to get to his pit stall, unfortunately. He looked lost there for a second. Wilson gets away. 10.6. Wilson from 13.2. Not sure if that was a 4-tire stop or not. If so, it's pretty quick as those guys pull away. with that. Look at that. Joe Wells all of a sudden has jumped up to the front here as he and Shane Ward have gotten past Al Likens. Question, when do these guys come to pit road? Kind of trying to pull away here a little bit in that tandem draft. It looks like it's kind of working here a little bit as these guys have pulled out to about a second on Likens. This 25 has fallen back here. As you see Roger. Oh, and up in the wall goes Branch and Thompson. Synchronized wall slapping. We're really starting to see this pack break up a little bit. These guys got to remember as they run behind other cars now, the car gets aero tight. And that's where I think you're seeing these cars slide up the track and get the wall. Because now you almost got to treat this track like a speedway instead of a super speedway. Joe Wells and Shane Ward, and Likens is caught back up to him. For a three-car battle now. Jason Branch fourth, 1.4 seconds back. We got Tommy Rogers, who pitted with the last group of cars, who's a lap car, and he's going to get freight trained here, it looks like, by the 08 and the 28. Of course, one thing you got to learn to do here is kind of be finesse with your throttle and brake. Don't know if you need to brake so much, but at least you can let off the throttle early through a corner. And that helps you roll through this corner at speed instead of having to get out of the gas mid-corner, which kills your exit momentum. I think a lot of these guys are having to learn on the fly here a little bit. Laps to go. Top three all single file, or I shouldn't say single file, but separated right out here in this pack. 3:39 and 25 with a couple lap cars. And there, and I thought I saw them wrecking for a second there. Kind of spooky. Happens when you get tired. Jason Branch here fourth. Greg Thompson, Scott Wise, as they are now catching back up. With the help of this draft, let's see what Branch does with it here. He's going to have a lot of speed in the corner here. All of a sudden it is 6 cars, 7 cars make that all 7 on the lead lap with 10 to go. Coming to battle for the win of this race with a couple of lap cars intertwined up here at the front. Oh, so contact 54 gets out of shape. Everybody's got to check up now and get themselves reorganized here, and this splits them up a little bit. The 54 Shiflett got a little knocked out of shape there. Great save on his part. Now trying to side draft his way back up there in that 25 car. Seven to go. Everybody should be good to go from here. Look at Likens doing a good job side drafting off those cars beside him. He's worked his way up to the fourth car in line as Melnick takes a look outside in that one car. You see these guys having to walk the car up the track a little bit to either keep the other car down or to swing around and make the pass. Ooh, Shane Ward, a little bit of a late move. Likens going to go to the top side here, 3 wide. Now we're getting interesting here. Older tires and 3 wide, and Likens out of shape a little bit. I thought I saw some right front damage on the 25 there. I'll have to see the tire again. Four to go. Can they get back to the finish here? These guys have put on a fantastic show here at the end of this race. Of course, Wilson's not doing anything wrong right now. He's trying to hope for a yellow so he can get on the get back to 1 lap down in this race. You know, let me correct myself. He's actually 3 laps down because of the pit stop there. So he probably should, probably the next lap or so is going to get out of the way and let the leaders go at it here. As you see, the 25 has actually peeled off and come to pit road of Val Likens here. Ooh, that could be interesting. Did he not make it on fuel? I'm curious to see what Wilson is going to do here. Can Branch get his second win? As here we go, white flag, final lap. Oh, and Branch! He and Ward come together. And hard into the wall they both go. As Wells and Melnick gonna battle it out. As they drag race off turn 4 into the start-finish line, Joe Wells has won at Atlanta and gets his second win of the season. By 5/100ths of a second over Melnick. Greg Thompson gets third, Scott Weiss fourth. to wonder, did Joe run out of gas? Because he is literally coasting to the start-finish line. Here comes a teammate to help, maybe. Or maybe he's doing the team photo here. Let's see. Vivid EV Vet the Track cars. Parking at the start-finish line here. Fine, we'll see if Wells has any kind of oomph to do a burnout here. I think we're dead in the water here, boys, unfortunately. Let's go back to the final lap here and watch what transpired here. Unfortunately, it's just going to go back a little sooner than that. Let's just take the white flag. How's that? Here we go. Get our view here of the irony there. The 34 gets into the 28 and bam, into the wall hard. Those two go to 39. Let's go to the far chase here because I think we'll get a better view here. The Branch has got a pretty good run on the 23 here. 39 gives them a bump. Okay, and that turns them sideways. Here, Wells is pretty much in control, and only Melnick is just trying to get close enough. Melnick got the run on the bottom here, but just not enough time. As we take a look at the finishing results, as Joe Wells wins it, gets his second win of the season. Stephen Melnick finishing second. I believe that's his best run of the 2024 campaign. Greg Thompson third. Scott Wise fourth. Shane Ward finishing fifth. Al Lyken sixth. Jason Branch, Daryl Johnson, Tommy Rogers, and Ryan Wilson end up in the top 10 with Shiflett, McKinney, Gilbert, Hudson, Holt. And also AJ Condon, 17th, unfortunately. And Dusty White, I think, got stuck at the Georgia Aquarium or something. We'll talk to our top three finishers as per usual. And we'll start to the man that gave me some great advice tonight. Got everything set up for me, and in response, he got a third place finish here. So good things happen to good people, I guess, here. Greg Thompson, congratulations on a great finish, a wild ending there, long green flag run, and some handling came into play, but well done getting a third.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest reason why that went green from that last caution was because we were all saving gas. Mm-hmm. We barely made it. I had 0.4 to the good there, so it was basically, that was the reason why that we were all just saving gas, and nobody wanted to pass anybody because we were all like, I'm not going to go out and lead.
You lead. No, you lead. No, you lead. And hence you guys made a lap car the guinea pig when it was all over with. Interesting there. Well, talk about the run to the finish. Obviously, I know it. A fuel mileage race makes it very interesting, but obviously, eventually, you guys had to go for it.
Well, when we saw Joe and Shane go for it, I knew me and my teammate Jason, we knew we had enough to make it, so we went ahead and went for it. So I pushed him up there to Joe, which forced their hand a little bit, and the only obstacle we had was a bunch of lap cars was in the way right there too. But at the very end there, I was basically pushing Joe, and my teammate was pushing the lap car on the bottom. And I told Joe in the waiting room there that had it come down to it, I was going to let off of you and let my teammate get the win, because I wasn't going to push Joe. But they ended up wrecking after the white flag, so that kind of nullified that.
Turn my mic on. Well, obviously a great run for you tonight in the 08 car, getting yourself a third place finish. I know you've had some rough luck here throughout the season. So good bounce back here tonight, and send some shout outs to everybody too.
Well, I'd like to thank my team, Torque Wrench Motorsports. Appreciate Scott for putting this on. He's a real good friend of mine, and my teammates, Jason, Kavaja, and Scott. And I'd like to thank my wife for letting me do this.
There you go. Well, great job tonight. Congratulations on a good finish here this evening.
Oh, I appreciate it, and a good broadcast tonight, Chris.
I appreciate it, Greg. Greg Thompson finishing in the third position here, and obviously great run for him, and I appreciate his advice, of course, helping me out. And hey, we had a good stream for about the first stage, and then unfortunately the numbers started tanking on my end, but I do appreciate his help as always, and at least I know I got somebody I can lean to if I need some more help. Let's talk to our runner-up and hometown track here for Stephen Melnick as he finishes in the second position. Stephen, so close but yet so far, but you put yourself in position throughout the night to have a good run, and it pulled off for you.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to win here, but my main goal coming in was like top five. Top fives. That's what I'm shooting for. Top fives and mission accomplished.
Well, obviously tonight, fuel mileage there at the end, as we just talked to Greg about, but it seemed like handling kind of came into play.
Yeah, it got you know, typical Atlanta. It starts getting tight in the run, especially in 3 and 4. It wanted to shoot up the track, so you kind of have to lift, like keep lifting off the throttle, which kind of helped with the fuel saving a little bit. So, but it was tough passing people like for a while there, like just because you get stuck in the bottom lane and you really couldn't get on the throttle because they'd get tight. You don't want to get in the outside lane because you got tight, you hit in the wall. So it was that long run was an anomaly here, but it was fun.
Obviously, a great run, and what has been an up and down season for you also here this season. But to get a top 2 finish, got to be something to be proud of.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I trained paints in load day, so I had I guess I lost my sponsorship. I don't know what happened. Like, some way, I went like with an iRacing generic car out there and had my best race of the season. So maybe the sponsorship will come back next week.
Craig Martin has hacked Stephen Melnick's Trading Paints officially.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, there's no teeth on the front of the car, so if Craig Martin hacked it, there's definitely be teeth on the front of the car.
Very fair point. Well, send some shout outs to everybody like to.
Shout out to you for broadcasting race, Lauren and Scott for putting this on. Good win for Joe. Close, but happy for him. He got a win there. Shout out to my wife, family, kids. It's my father-in-law's birthday today,
nice.
So happy birthday to my father-in-law, Dave Atwell. Get a little shout out to him. CACMAR Management, my company that usually sponsors my car. I guess I lost my own sponsorship on my own company can sponsor me. I don't know. I don't know how that works. And Hawkeye Tech, another company that kind of gives me work and stuff like that. So shout out to them. Good start to a new year. And happy to be on the broadcast with you right now because I began the race, I had a strategy, kind of hang in the back, and there was a wreck, kind of got up towards the front, and kind of stayed there the rest of the night. So
there you go. It worked out. Well, you might want to call HR about the paint issues and stuff.
HR, that's might be more the money people, at this point, if it's sponsored. But
well,
accounting.
I was trying to tie the words with the Kakamura.
Yeah. We'll have to fire the accounting department. Somebody in the accounting department was getting written up tonight. Yeah. Where's Chris Lewis? Hey, shout out to Chris Lewis out there, wherever you are, bud. Come back here and get some racing with us.
Nice job tonight, man.
All right, man. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
You too, buddy. Stephen Melnick finishing in the second place position here tonight. Lewis got its run in the previous league, but unfortunately has been some weather issues ever since the Asheville hurricanes and stuff over there, so hopefully he's doing well. Mind you, I got to text him sometime. All right, let's talk to our
hello there
winner here tonight, of course, presented by Vet to Track here in Victory Lane this evening with Joe Wells, his second win here this season. Congratulations, Joe, as you get back to Victory Lane in third, second, 7 times 13, 28. But, a great job tonight finishing P1.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fantastic race. Great bounce back from last week as well, so that was awesome. But yeah, that was a great team race. All my teammates helped me tremendously throughout that race. AJ, McKinney, Shane. Shane was a massive asset today, and then Travis as well. I mean, all of that. And I said AJ. I think I said it.
You did.
AJ
You
as well,
did.
but. All the GLM homies, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting somebody, but appreciate all of you guys for all the hard work you guys are doing. Really helped me on track today. This is definitely one of the tracks that I'm not a fan of. So the fact that I won here is pretty interesting to me. And it was even cooler because the car that I won in was the car that I designed for Blaine Perkins at Las Vegas. So being able to run that on track and get a win here is that one feels a little bit more special.
Yeah, obviously being able to paint a car that you got to see in real life, get out there and get on the track in Vegas, and then to put it on your car to go to victory lane, that's got to be a good feeling. And then also with you, I know last few weeks obviously have been a little bit of a struggle. I know last week at Daytona I kind of mentioned how, you know, it was usually the G Lightning guys that were up there toward the front, but we didn't see it that much. But
yeah,
tonight a good little bounce back. I know obviously Travis had a good run for a little bit there before his blinker fluid ran out. And then you had Shane and a couple others up there running with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, last week I think was more of a fluke for G Lightning. I don't know what it was. I think we can all agree that last week was definitely just something different than the normal product you're used to seeing in Masters of the Draft. So it was good to be able to get a really good long race and a fuel-saving race. To be able, for me, I mean, I ran out of fuel as I came back to the cross finish line for the end of the race photos. So to be able to have a fuel-saving race there at the end and everything really was nice to get back in the swing of things and put myself back in victory lane.
Well, I'm saying it's got to be a good feeling here, and I know once we get the points updated here in a couple days, once they review some things to get back up there towards the top, because I know Travis kind of took the reins from you last season in that little segment, but 3 out of 4 wouldn't be bad if you were to pull that off going to Daytona next week.
Hey man, I mean anything's possible for sure. So, and I mean 3 for Dale, that sounds like good to me. But yeah, it was this was just a fun race to be able to be a part of. Like I said, fuel saving races is weird. Once I saw everybody kind of slowing up, I know I took enough fuel, so I just got to the outside and just booked it. Once I knew I could stick it out there with the tires as well, I was praying to God it went green. So I'm very thankful that everyone kind of kept it clean there. And it was cool also when in Atlanta. I was born in Atlanta, so that's also another cool thing. So a lot of cool things happening tonight.
So we got ourselves were we a Grady baby?
I identify from Texas, but I was born in Atlanta, so it was cool for that to happen as well.
Nothing wrong with that. So congratulations, and send some shouts to everybody too.
Yeah, big shout out to everybody watching at home. Tom, I know you're watching. Bruce, I know you're watching as well. It's Sentman Custom Carts. If you're looking for golf carts in the Delaware area, Bruce is your guy. Big shout out to all the G Lightning members that weren't racing today. I know Krishan, you're watching as well, so much love, homie.
He got snowed in.
Yeah. Shout out to you, man, as well. I know this is your last season broadcasting. We're really gonna miss you, Chris. You've done a lot for the league, and we really appreciate you, and also helping keep any tensions in the league lighthearted. So, thank you again to all my GLM homies. I think John is out there watching as well. A couple other people. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting, but check out Vivid EV as well. We're the best manufacturer of golf carts around. That's who I had on board tonight. So. Probably forgetting a little bit. It's been a while since I've been up here in the booth with you, man. But appreciate everything you're doing, and thanks everybody for a great race.
He does great work, my friends, on with graphics and stuff like that, and we appreciate what Joe Wells does also. And big shout to him on the win here tonight. Congratulations on win number 3.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man.
You too, buddy. And of course, that interview presented by Vet to Track from Victory Lane here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Congratulations to Joe and Melnick and Thompson on their top 3 finishes. Melnick actually going to get the award for the hard charger tonight. So congratulations to Stephen Melnick in what is supposed to be the Kakamora HR car. But right now it's the insert sponsor here car. Hard Charger Award presented by Superior Templating. So congratulations to Mr. Melnick, gaining 14 spots tonight from 16th to 14th, or to 2nd in the race here this evening. Just go peek over here in Discord. I know usually they do it after like review and stuff, so yeah, I don't think the points will be updated. So, but I'll say great race here tonight. That long green flag run in the end. So nothing wrong with some good green flag race here. Some pit stops and so on and so forth. Strategy coming into play, and of course the usual yellows. But next week it's really going to get interesting because you get to go to a track that, you know, when it's known as a legacy track, it really doesn't get updated anymore. So we're going to put an updated car on a track that hasn't been updated in a few years with bumps and twists and turns and all types of interesting stuff. And when we go to the 07 Daytona coming up here next week, we'll have it for you at 8:15 Eastern time. As per usual, so the schedule up here. We're all the way down here at the bottom. The fourth row here. Daytona and Talladega to finish out the month of January. Before we go into February in the Gen 4 car and in the Gen 6 car to finish it all out in March and April. So, good line of races coming up here the next few weeks or so as we get ready to finish out the third race here coming up next week. And of course, there's always room for you, by the way. If you want to sign up, reach out to Scott Wise or even myself, and I'll try to get you connected for future seasons and stuff. You can run these guys. You might not be able to win the overall championship, but you can still win the championship for that particular 4-race season. Kind of like Mario Kart, as I like to say. All right. Big shout out to all the sponsors. Vivid EV, of course, sponsor of the Polo Award. Wise Guy Racing Graphics for the stages. And, of course, Vet the Track for both the winner in Victory Lane and, of course, the overall Masters of the draft. And last but certainly not least, Key City Hobby for sponsoring the Xfinity Series here for these 4 races. Again, make sure to check out Key City Hobby on Facebook. You can reach out to AJ Condon for any details about that, especially if you're a fan of RC racers. All right, we're out. We're going to head to the old school Daytona. We're going to go back to the future again and check out what it was like back in the old heyday to run at Daytona. So we're out. Appreciate everybody's viewership. And as always, very grateful for what everybody has done to make this stream a lot of fun to do for these last few years. So let's keep going and rocking and rolling. Remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain eSports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for their continued support and hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.